They said love covers all things. But what happens when the same love becomes the reason your heart breaks into pieces? Broken heart. If you've ever trusted someone too much, drop a broken heart in the comments before you continue reading. Mary was the kind of woman every man prayed for, soft-spoken, hardworking, respectful, and loyal to the bone. When she met Michael, she believed her waiting days were over. He wasn't rich then, but he had dreams, big ones. And Mary? She believed in him even more than he believed in himself. While her friends were chasing men with cars and money, Mary was busy helping Michael draft his CV, pressing his shirts before interviews, and fasting every Wednesday for his success. Love made her blind. Trust made her weak. And loyalty made her forget herself. Speech balloon. If you've ever loved someone this deep, type "love is blind" in the comments. Their love story began like a fairy tale. They met at a youth fellowship program. Michael had spoken about finding a woman who fears God more than she fears poverty. Mary smiled that day, not knowing those same lips would one day tell another woman, "You're my peace." After 2 years of dating, they got married in a small but beautiful ceremony. Mary wore a borrowed wedding gown, but her joy was brand new. Michael cried at the altar, tears everyone thought were of joy. But God knew better. The first few years were sweet. They moved into a small apartment, shared dreams, laughed over cheap meals, and planned for their future. When money started coming in, Michael's behavior started changing too. He no longer rushed home after work. Calls started ending with, "I'm in a meeting." He began locking his phone, something he never did before. Mary's heart knew something was wrong. But her mouth was scared to ask. One night, while Michael slept, his phone vibrated continuously. Mary's heart raced. It was 12:43 a.m. She tried to resist the temptation, but something whispered, "Check it." The message came again. This time, she opened it. "Good night, my kinky smack. I miss your arms." Mary froze. Her hands trembled. She couldn't breathe. It wasn't just a message. It was a bullet, straight through her heart. Speech balloon. If you've ever seen something that broke your spirit instantly, comment pain. The next morning, Mary acted normal. She served Michael breakfast, smiled, and even ironed his shirt. But her eyes carried a storm only heaven could understand. That evening, she followed him quietly. He stopped at a fancy restaurant. A woman in red waved at him, confident, beautiful, carefree. Mary watched from across the road as her husband hugged the woman the way he used to hug her, tight and full of promises. Tears rolled down her face, blending with the rain that started to fall. It was like heaven cried with her. Mary didn't confront him immediately. She prayed first. She cried second. Then she decided to act. A week later, Michael told her he'd be attending a business trip in Abuja. Mary nodded. But her spirit whispered, "This is it." That Saturday morning, she followed him again. Only this time, her discovery would break her completely. Michael didn't go to the airport. He went to a hotel. And the woman in red arrived moments later. Mary waited outside until the evening. When they came out holding hands, she felt her legs weaken. But something inside her said, "Stand tall. Don't let them see your tears." She walked toward them. Michael's smile vanished instantly. The woman froze. Mary looked him straight in the eyes and said softly, "Michael, I prayed for you to succeed, not for you to forget who helped you build your wings." She dropped her wedding ring into his palm and walked away. Not a single tear fell, not one. Speech balloon. If you've ever reached a point where you chose peace over pain, type strength. That night, Mary packed her few clothes, some documents, and left for her friend's house. For days, she didn't eat. For weeks, she didn't sleep. But slowly, she began to heal. She started reading books, praying again, and talking to women who had faced the same betrayal. Each day, her heart became lighter. Months later, she opened a small catering business, the one she and Michael had always dreamed of starting together. She named it New Dawn Kitchen. Every time she served food, she smiled, not because life was perfect, but because she was free. One Sunday morning, Michael showed up at her shop. He looked worn out, guilty, and broken. He begged for forgiveness. He said,
"Mary, I made mistake. I lost everything."
"The woman left me." Mary looked at him quietly and said,
"Sometimes God allows you to lose something good so that you can value what you once had."
Then she turned away, wiped her hands, and continued serving her customers. That day, she finally knew she didn't need him to survive. Speech balloon: if you believe healing is better than revenge, drop a red heart in the comments. Weeks later, she posted on her Facebook page, "Some endings are painful, but they are necessary. I may have walked away with tears, but I also walked away with peace."
My name is Mary and I
Her story went
survived
viral.
betrayal.
Women from different walks of life shared their own heartbreaks and healing journeys. And for the first time in a long time, Mary smiled, genuinely. Rose moral: not everyone who says "I love you" truly means it. But when life shows you their true colors, don't repaint them. Walk away. Heal. Because sometimes the most beautiful thing a broken woman can do is to rebuild herself quietly and shine again. Sparkles. If you've ever been betrayed but found strength to stand again, drop "I survived" flex biceps in the comments. Tag a strong woman who inspires you, red heart. And share this story so another woman can find hope again. The end.